Hey everyone, this is Kate, owner of Era 7 Partners, and I am here today with my friend and friend of the company, Leon Ko. Hi, Leon.
Hey, Kate. Thank you so much for having me today.
Great to have you. I'm excited about our conversation today because I wanted to unpack the idea of agents for our audiences.
hmm
Um, what are they? You hear a lot of conversation about AI agents. Where do they exist today in terms of the tech, and what can we expect to see down the line? So, I wanted to invite you on because you are our resident agent expert.
Yes. Yeah. We've been having a lot of great conversations offline about what agents are, what they are today, and what they aren't, right? And so we thought, what better way than try to package some insights and share with the community where agents are at? Because the reason agents are important in the context of today is because everything we're building in AI is towards agents, right? The arc of computers is just getting more and more of computers to do work for us. And agents are an extension of that. But like we'll talk about, parts of them are here today, parts of them are far looking in the future. But every aspect of AI is just looking towards the future of agents. And that's why it's important to have agents on your radar.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think a lot of us, when we think about agents, we picture the movie Her, we think
hmm
about Scarlett Johansson's voice in your ear, sort of managing your life as you move throughout the world, which I don't think is science fiction anymore. I mean, you do have multimodal capabilities. AIs can see, hear, and speak to you now.
hmm
But that level of taking actions on your behalf isn't here yet. So
Sure.
set the stage for us. What does an agent look like in today's technology?
Sure. Yeah. Like you mentioned, even the idea of agents is work of science fiction. Even you think of the Jetsons and robots, and obviously there's a mechanical aspect, and then there's something kind of resembling a brain or an action aspect. So it's been kind of in the cultural zeitgeist for a while. When I talk with companies today about agents, I think the easy way to understand it is just break it up into three categories, right?
Okay.
So there's voice AI agents. That one's pretty self explanatory. They're agents that you can talk to and they talk back, right? The second is going to be agentic workflows. And so these are what you might call smart automations or an intelligent automations or workflows that use AI in some way or agents in some way, but are not true end-to-end agentic, as we might call it. And then the last is going to be general purpose agents. And these are truly, they have access to be able to interact with your computer or the browser or take broad, loose instructions and make multi-step actions go on and make decisions and reason, right? So that's what we're pushing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're reaching towards. And I think, it sounds like from your description that today the component pieces are
Mm-hmm.
there to have AI agents, so to speak, do pieces of work, perform
Mm-hmm.
certain tasks, but that end to end agentic capability isn't really there. And I'm thinking about, I listened to the Big Technology podcast recently,
Mm-hmm.
and on there they had Matt Wood. He's at Amazon working on AI products, and he was talking to Alex, the host, and they were having a bit of a disconnect because Alex was saying, I don't think agents are really here. And Matt was saying, well, I see tons of them on Amazon Bedrock all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just wondering, sort of from your perspective, where do you think that disconnect comes from? How come two experts can see the same thing from two different perspectives?
Well, have you ever heard the phrase, the future is here, it's just not evenly distributed?
Yes,
I
that's a good
think
one, though.
I think that's not an original quote, but I think that is one way of thinking about it, right? The future is
Mm-hmm.
here. Not everyone has adopted it, right? A sizable portion of the country and the working population has used ChatGPT, but I'm confident, 50 to 100 million plus Americans have not used ChatGPT or AI at all. So we're in different places on the adoption spectrum. And when it comes to agents, agents are essentially dare I say, one of, if not the most cutting edge implementations of AI, which is right now the hottest and most cutting edge technology that we have. And so we are very far out and looking very far forward. And typically you might say, okay, well, that's far out in the future. But because agents unlock doing work for us, this is going to close the gap and happen and be adopted across enterprises and small businesses across America extremely rapidly, because that's what we all want. We want computers to do work for us. So the last reason why is definitional, right? If one of the hosts is talking about agents and he's talking about my definition of agents and the other one's talking about agentic workflows, then there is a disconnect, because agentic workflows are quite reliable today in many implementations. But
well, let's bring it into the real world. Let's bring it
Sure.
into the real world for folks, because I want to make sure that people understand what we're talking about. So give me a real world example of how a company would deploy an agentic workflow, for example.
Yeah. So, I mean, an easy one that you can think of is content creation, right? So let's say I internally, the best way to make agentic workflows is to take internal workflows and infuse them with intelligence, right? So one way that we can make a human in the loop agentic workflow is take ideas from a blog writer and have an agent review and edit that and feed it back to the human, right? But once the human says, hey, I'm happy with this, it would go automatically to their editor for review. But the editor could be presented the feedback from the first round and then a second review from an agent. And an editor is now infused with contextual intelligence about that blog, about what was originally written, what was fixed, and what was improved. And so that's a very, 2 or 3 step agentic workflow that you can see how the value would be added by just bringing a impartial third party to allow you to compress insight and feed it to another human. Very simple agentic work.
Got it. And what about a voice agent? I know that was one of the other ones that you mentioned.
So, I mean, voice agents, the way you can think about voice agents actually is it's just chatting with one system prompt. So if you're familiar with the system prompt, it's a way to kind of narrow the scope of what a particular AI model is going to talk about. And so an example would be a Shopify abandoned cart agent, where it would be given the context about what the potential customer wanted to purchase. It would call the customer automatically and have a real conversation with intelligence about the product, potentially offer them a discount code, and then encourage them to go back in and buy the product if they were so interested, if they didn't get all of their information and questions solved by the website. And so that's a perfect pair of a voice agent complementing a website.
So it actually calls them up on the phone?
Yes. Yeah, if they have an account.
They're talking to an agent. They're talking to it as if it has a voice. I mean, it sounds like a person.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Oh my gosh. So did they ever do celebrities for things like that? I mean, you're building these, right? So have you ever put a celebrity in there?
I haven't put a celebrity. There's definitely some like copyright situations about celebrity voices. I think OpenAI got into a little bit of trouble, specifically with Scarlett Johansson, if you remember.
Well, they didn't license it is the problem. I mean, I'm sure, the Olympics is on right now. This is beginning of August. 2024. There's so many athletes that rely on sponsorships. I mean, it's probably a great opportunity for all of them to be aligned with the sports brands in a new way.
I think athletes and sponsorships and having voice agents that resemble the athlete, obviously it would be disclosed that, a real Olympic athlete
is not really them.
But you know what? I think that would be really cool just to hear someone's voice that you look up to and admire. And, maybe one of the top golfers in the world, Colin Morikawa, Tom Kim gives me a call and says, Leon, I know you had that driver in the cart. Pull the trigger. That's the difference between breaking par and not. I'm buying the driver all day.
You would buy it. All right. Well, let's partner up and let's build this, and then we'll sell it to Titleist.
Exactly.
Great. I think, it's really helpful to hear the real world applications. When you look into your crystal ball and you're
Mhm.
thinking about the future, how long do you think we have until Scarlett Johansson, the bot, right, from the movie Her, is here?
Sure. Uh, that's a difficult question. And part of it, I think, is just society's receptiveness and openness to it. Because part of it is just, are people willing to accept the value? And then obviously that comes with privacy trade offs. And so, in some sense, we have Scarlett Johansson's Her already. We have the technology in our AirPods with Siri. Apple is actively developing large action models, which are extensions of LLMs that can take action. And it seems Apple is telegraphing over the next 2-3 years. In your next iPhone, you are going to have uh, advanced AI on your phone. And so that's going to unlock significant privacy benefits because you can theoretically not interact with an AI and not have that conversation leave your phone, right? Today,
Right.
all of the best models, you need to talk to a cloud model or an external server, and that exposes you to data risk. But if you had access to Her today and the data never left your local device, I think a lot of people would use it, right? So maybe in
I
the
would
next
use
two or four
it.
years.
I mean, I would use it to book travel. I would use it to
Mm-hmm.
arrange my kids' swim lessons. I would use it to look in my refrigerator via camera, put my shopping list together, order
Mm-hmm.
everything for me, and keep it stocked. I mean, there's so many applications for this technology that just free up time in our lives, and time is more and more at a premium these days. But
Well,
one
exactly.
thing, yeah.
Well, exactly. I mean, I think all the technology is there now. Just this year, just this past summer, we have models that are smart enough and inexpensive enough and small enough to be able to support these actions. But in concert, over the past year or so, we have transcription and voice to text and text to voice models that also support all of this. So once all the underlying infrastructure gets aligned, which it just now is this year, I think we're going to see a massive explosion in these types of things. And like you said, time is money. But the crazy thing about these models is they're getting smarter, faster, and cheaper every year.
Mhm.
And the cost of having an intelligent assistant, a super intelligent assistant, is going down dramatically to where I don't think it would be crazy to say in 12 months for $1 a day, you would have a genius assistant. And I think many people would argue we've had that for a year or two.
It's going to be a wild ride, and I'm so glad that we have your expertise as part of our network of experts to come in and help us unpack all of the technological advances that are coming our way. So, thank you, Leon, for coming on and chatting agents with us.
Yes, thanks for the time, Kate. It's been fantastic. If you haven't explored agents or heard about them, definitely start familiarizing yourself with it because it is something that's going to happen, right? If you can tell that AI is going to be something big over the next decade, you have an obligation to yourself and to your business to jump on the front curve and really reap those benefits. And so I think as everything kind of slots into place, you're going to find yourself, instead of thinking, oh, I need to go through all this manual work on my computer, I'm going to be able to ask an agent and just give direction and have benefit returned to me. And I mean, what could be more powerful than that?
I can't wait.
Awesome. Thanks for the time, Kate. I appreciate it.
Talk to you later.
Thanks.
Bye.